Hello students, today we will do about chemical equation. Last class we have done about the symbols, formulas and about the valency. So today we will do about chemical equation. Chemical equation is the shorthand representation of a chemical reaction. A chemical reaction is represented by chemical equation with the help of symbols and formula. For example, carbon burns in air gives carbon dioxide and water vapor. We know that when coal is burnt in air, then it forms carbon dioxide. So how I will write in the equation form that carbon, coal, coal burn in air gives carbon dioxide. So this is the reaction, and how I will write this one, that carbon, it means carbon plus oxygen gives carbon dioxide. Carbon dioxide. So carbon react with oxygen. If I will write in this form, so this is the chemical equation for this reaction, that carbon reacts with oxygen gives carbon dioxide. C plus O2 gives CO2. In the same way, if I say that zinc react with hydrochloric acid gives zinc chloride and hydrogen. So how I will write the equation for this, that zinc react with hydrochloric acid and gives zinc chloride plus hydrogen. Okay, so here we have to, what are the substances which are participating in the reaction? They are known as the reactant. So reactant we have to write left side of the equation, and the product which are formed we have to write on the right side of the equation. And all the reactants which are participating in the reaction we will write left side, and in between the reactants I have to give the plus sign. And the products which are formed also I will give the plus sign if more than two products are formed. And in between the reactant and product side, I have to give the arrow. And if anything, which is any substance which is like hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, then we will not write in the atomic state. Instead of that, we have to write it in the molecular form. Like hydrogen form, we have to write H2. Oxygen participating in the reaction, we will not write O, we will write O2. So we have to write in the molecular state, not in the elementary state. So this is all about that how to write a chemical equation. Reactants left hand side, products right hand side. In between the reactants and product, we have to give the arrow, and the two or more reactants are there, then in between the reactants I have to give the plus sign. In the same way, two or more products are there, then I have to give the plus sign. So this is all about how we will write the chemical equation. Now this I have written the coal burned in air form carbon dioxide. So this form I have written in words. This is actually we call word equation, and this is what, this is the chemical equation, this as well as this chemical equation. Now what will happen, the chemical equation, when initially we will write, that may be a balanced equation or maybe it is not balanced, unbalanced equation. Unbalanced chemical equation is known as the skeletal equation. For example, this zinc react with hydrochloric acid gives zinc chloride and hydrogen. This is not a balanced equation, but this one is balanced equation. Now what is the difference between the balanced equation and unbalanced? Unbalanced equation is known as the skeletal equation. So when I write this equation as this, Zn plus HCl gives ZnCl2 plus hydrogen. Okay, and the same equation when I write in this way, Zn plus 2HCl, and it gives ZnCl2 plus hydrogen. Okay, so this is the skeletal or unbalanced equation. Unbalanced equation means you will observe that the total number of atoms which are participating in the reaction towards the reactant side is not equal to the total number of atoms which are produced towards the product side. So here, see here, zinc, how many atoms are there? the reactant side, suppose this is the product side. Zinc, how many atom? 1. And product side also 1. Okay. But hydrogen, how many atom? 1 atom, and this side is 2. 2 atoms. Chlorine, here this side is 2. Sorry, this side 1 and this side 2. So what do you observe here? That the number of atoms of zinc, both the sides equal, but hydrogen and chlorine, the number of atoms which are participating in the reaction means 1 hydrogen atom and 1 chlorine atom are towards the reactant side, but the product side they are 2 respectively. So it means it is an unbalanced equation. So this is the raw equation in which we call skeletal equation. But this side you see here, this side zinc reactant side and product side. The reactant side, what here 1 and this side also 1. Hydrogen, 2 atoms are there, you see here 2H. So 2 hydrogen atoms, and this side also 2 hydrogen atoms. And chlorine, 2 atoms and 2 atoms are there. So it means what happens, the number of atoms which are participating in the reaction, atoms of each element, the elements which are participating in the reaction and the number of atoms of each element which are formed in the reaction are equal both the side, that is the reactant side and the product side. So you see here zinc, 1 atom this side, 1 this side, hydrogen 2 this side, reactant side, and 2 product side. Chlorine also 2 reactant side and 2 product side. So this is what, this is a balanced equation, and we call it, this is balanced. So this equation is the skeletal equation, and this equation is the balanced one. This is the balanced equation. Balanced equation. Now the question is why we have to balance the equation. Why we have to balance the equation? Why? Because according to the law of conservation of mass, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. Means in a chemical reaction, the total mass of the reactant must be equal to total mass of the product. So according to law of conservation of mass, according to law of conservation of mass. What is that? Mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. It means the mass of the reactant must be mass of the reactants. Reactants. Sorry. Total mass of the reactants must be equal to total mass of the product, and total mass of the reactant will be equal to the total mass of the product only when the number of atoms towards the reactant side will be equal to the number of atoms towards the product side. If this side, what happens, 2 hydrogen atom, this side also 2 hydrogen atom, this side 2 chlorine atom this side, and 1 zinc atom towards the reactant side and 1 towards the product side, then what will happen? The total mass of the reactant will obviously be equal to the total mass of the product. So total mass of the reactant and total mass of the product will be equal only if the number of atoms of each element towards the reactant side, towards the reactant side must be equal to number of atoms of each element towards the product side, towards the product side. So according to law of conservation of mass, mass can neither be created nor be destroyed. It means the total mass of the reactant must be equal to the total mass of the product, and that is only possible if the total number of atoms of each element towards the reactant side must be equal to the towards the product side. And this means to consider law of conservation of mass, we have to balance the equation. If we will balance the equation, then only the law of conservation of mass is, we can prove law of conservation of mass. Next is that I'll discuss about the information conveyed by balanced chemical equation. Information means what are the information? Suppose any chemical equation is given to you, a balanced chemical equation, and what are the information we are getting from it. For example, a balanced equation is that one balanced equation I'm writing here. You know that acid react with the base, gives salt and water. Okay, so I am writing here sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid and give sodium sulfate Na2SO4 plus water. Okay, so sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid, gives sodium sulfate and water. And this is not a balanced equation because can you see here sodium 1 atom and sodium 2 atoms are there. So if I write it here 2, then what will happen? This is a balanced equation. Now this is a balanced equation. How to balance the equation I'll discuss after discussing all these things. After explaining all this, then I will explain to you how to balance a equation. So if suppose this is a equation, so what are the information conveyed by a balanced equation? First thing is that this reaction give us idea that what are the substances participating in the reaction and the substance which are formed during the reaction. It means we can get the idea about the reactants and the product in the chemical reaction. Like this reaction tell us that sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid, gives sodium sulfate and water. First we know about the reaction, that sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid, gives sodium sulfate and water. Okay, first thing that we know about that which substance is reacting and what is produced means in the reaction. Then we come to know that what are the reactants in the reaction. So the reactants here are sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid, and product formed here are sodium sulfate and water. So we come to know about the reactants and the product in a chemical reaction. Third thing is that we can know about the symbol or formula of all the reactants and all the products which are participating or produced in the reaction. For example, here I can know the formula for one molecule of sodium hydroxide is NaOH and for sulfuric acid is H2SO4. In the same way, I know that Na2SO4 is the formula for sulfuric acid and H2O is the formula for water. So we can know about the symbol and the formula of all the substance involved in this reaction. Third is that we can know about the number of atoms or molecules of each substance which are taking part in the reaction and number of atoms or molecules of the substance which are formed during the reaction. Like here in this reaction, how many molecules of sodium hydroxide participating in the reaction? Obviously 2 molecules. How many? In sodium hydroxide, how many molecules are participating? 2 molecules. How many molecules of sulfuric acid? That is here nothing written, it means it is 1. Not written anything means it is 1 molecule. So it is 2 molecule of sodium hydroxide reacts with 1 molecule of H2SO4, and here also it is 1 molecule of sodium sulfate and 2 molecules of water formed in the reaction. It means third thing that it give us idea that number of molecules or atom of each substance taking part in the reaction and formed during the reaction. Suppose I write here zinc Zn plus HCl, balance it, then it will give ZnCl2 plus hydrogen. So this give us idea that One atom of zinc reacts with 2 molecules of hydrochloric acid, gives 1 molecule of zinc chloride and 1 molecule of hydrogen. This is what? This is 1 atom of zinc. This is what? 2 molecules of HCl, because it is a compound and this is an element. So it is 1 atom of zinc, 2 molecule of hydrochloric acid, 1 molecule of zinc chloride. It is a compound, so it is 1 molecule, and this hydrogen in the molecular state, so it is also 1 molecule of hydrogen. I said to you that H2, N2, oxygen, all these things we have to write in the molecular state, not in the atomic state. So this is what? 1 molecule of hydrogen. So that is, we can know about how many molecules of the substance are reacting and how many molecules of each substance are formed during the reaction. Now we can even know about the chemical composition of the molecule. We can know about chemical composition of the molecule. It means I can know about that sodium hydroxide. One molecule consisted of 1 atom of sodium, 1 atom of oxygen and 1 atom of hydrogen. And in sulfuric acid, we can know about the composition of sulfuric acid. Composition of sulfuric acid means that 2 atoms of hydrogen, 1 atom of sulfur and 4 atoms of oxygen combined together to form 1 molecule of sulfuric acid. So we can know about the molecular composition of or chemical composition of the substance which are participating and which are formed in the reaction. Next, even we can know from this the molecular mass of the substance, and with the help of that we can prove law of conservation of mass. So how we can know molecular mass of the substance? Participating means taking part in the reaction, and molecular mass of the substance which are formed during the reaction. For example, this reaction, that sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid and gives sodium sulfate plus water. Balance it. So this is there and this is the balanced equation. So it gives about molecular composition as well as molecular mass. Molecular mass, so sodium hydroxide. The mass of sodium hydroxide, if I will calculate, it is 23 for 1 atom of sodium plus 1 atom of oxygen is there. So 1 atom of oxygen is 16. You can write here 1 atom of sodium, so 1 into, and this here 1 into 16 and plus 1 into 1 for hydrogen. So this is in total 23 plus 16 plus 1. So 2 into 40, that is 80 gram. Now sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid mass is 2 atoms of hydrogen, so 2 into 1 plus sulfur is 1 atom. So 1 atom of sulfur will be 1 into 32 plus oxygen 4. So 4 into 16. So total weight it will be 2 plus 32 plus 64. So that is equal to 98 gram. 448, sir. Yeah, 98. Sodium sulfate, if you will calculate, then 2 atoms of sodium is 2 into 23 plus 1 atom of sulfur means 1 into 32 plus 4 atoms of oxygen. So 4 atoms of oxygen means 4 into 16. So total mass of sodium sulfate is 2 3s are 6, 4 plus 32 plus 64, and then it will be equal to, I think, 142 gram. Okay, and water weight is, it is actually 2 molecules, so 2 I will write in the bracket. 2 atom of hydrogen, so 2 into 1 plus 1 atom of oxygen, 1 into 6. So when you will calculate, it will be 2 into 2 plus 16. So that is equal to 2 into 18, that is equal to 36 gram. It means in this reaction, what mass of sodium hydroxide is taking part in the reaction? Calculation. From calculation we got it that 80 gram of 80 gram of sodium hydroxide, and sulfuric acid 98 gram, and sodium sulfate 142 gram calculated, and water 36 gram. So this equation even give us idea that 80 gram of sodium hydroxide reacts with 98 gram of sulfuric acid, gives 142 gram of sodium sulfate and 36 gram of water. Since this is a balanced equation, if it is not balanced, we will not get this. We will get something else. So it is balanced. So 80 gram of this react with 98 gram of this and give 142 gram of sulfuric acid and 236 gram of water. So mass of the reactant is how much? See here, mass of the reactant. So reactants here are what? Sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid. It means mass of sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid, that is equal to 80 plus 98, and that is coming out 178 gram. And this side the mass of the product. So mass of product. Mass of the products is equal to 142 gram plus 36 gram, and this is also 178 gram. So even we can observe here that the total mass of the reactant is equal to the total mass of the product, and that is what? That is law of conservation of mass. So even with the help of balanced equation, we can prove law of conservation of mass. So the thing is that, again we recapitulate once, that what are the informations conveyed by a balanced equation. First thing, we can know about the chemical reaction, that sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid, gives sodium sulfate and water first. Second thing, we can know about the reactants, means here the reactants are sodium hydroxide and sulfuric acid, and we can know about the product, that is the products are sodium sulfate and the water. Third, we can know about the molecular composition of sodium hydroxide. Means sodium hydroxide, it is formula is NaOH, and one molecule consists of one atom of sodium, one atom of oxygen and one atom of hydrogen. In the same way, sulfuric acid molecular composition, that it is consisted of two atoms of hydrogen, one atom of sulfur and four atoms of oxygen. Fourth thing, we can know about that two molecules of sodium hydroxide react with one molecule of sulfuric acid, gives one molecule of sodium sulfate and two molecules of water. It means how many molecules or atoms of each reactants are participating, and how many numbers of molecules of each atom, sorry, how many molecules or atoms of each products are formed during the reaction. Next is that we can know about the mass of the reactants, means mass of each reactant, and mass of the products formed during the reaction. Like here, 80 gram of sodium hydroxide reacts with 98 gram of sulfuric acid, gives 142 grams of sodium sulfate and 36 gram of water. And this also, this balanced equation proves the law of conservation of mass. So with the equation, mass of the reactants calculated 178, we will calculate the mass of the product. If both are same, it means this is in accordance with the law of conservation of mass. So this is all about the information we are getting from a balanced chemical equation. Now, what are the limitations of chemical equation? Now we will discuss what are the limitations, means what are the informations we are not getting from a balanced equation. A equation is there, but still we are not getting some of the information. Like even the same reaction, the sodium hydroxide react with sulfuric acid and gives sodium sulfate plus water. So the first information is we are not getting from this Actually, here we don't know whether this sodium hydroxide is in the solid state, this sulfuric acid is in which state, or aqueous state, solid state, liquid state, or gaseous state. Sodium sulfate also we cannot get the idea. So we won't get the idea about first thing about the physical state. Physical state. Whether a solid substance participating in the reaction or the product which is formed, whether that is solid, liquid, gaseous, or in the aqueous state. So we cannot get about the idea about the physical state, first thing. Second thing is that we are not getting the idea about the time taken by the reaction, means how much time it will take, whether the reaction will be completed within the 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 1 day, 2 days, how much time it will take. So we won't get any information regarding time taken by the reaction. Third is that we will not get the idea, we can't get the idea from the equation that whether the reaction is completed or still it is incomplete. So can you say whether this reaction that okay, the reaction is complete or reaction is incomplete? So we have no idea about the completion of reaction the reaction. Now next is that rate of the reaction. Even we will not get the idea about the rate of the reaction. Rate of the reaction means the reaction will be take place within the full reaction. Complete reaction will be taking place within the 5 minutes or 10 minutes, whether it is a slow reaction or a fast. So rate or speed of the reaction. Rate or speed of the reaction. Next is that even we cannot know whether the reaction is exothermic in nature or endothermic in nature. So we cannot get the idea whether the reaction is exothermic or endothermic. I think you know what is exothermic and endothermic reaction. The reaction which will produce heat, that is known as exothermic, and the reaction which require heat, that is the endothermic reaction. Here anything is mentioned in sodium hydroxide reacts with sulfuric acid gives this. Anything whether it is mentioned exothermic or endothermic? No, it is not mentioned whether it is an exothermic reaction or endothermic reaction. So the reaction won't help us whether the reaction is exothermic or endothermic. Then you know the reversible and irreversible reaction. Reversible reaction means the reactant will give you the product, and irreversible reaction means a reaction where the reactant will give you the product and simultaneously at the same time the product will give the reactant. So even this reaction won't indicate whether the reaction is a reversible or irreversible reaction. Reversible or irreversible reaction. Okay. Then the thing is that even the reaction is not mentioning, like in this reaction, sulfuric acid which is used, whether it is a dilute or concentrated, means what is the concentration of each substance, that is not we are not getting the idea about the concentration of the substance. So concentration of substance, each substance, we are not getting the idea about concentration of the substance of the reactant or product, neither of reactant nor of product. Then we yes, one more thing, that condition of the reaction means under which condition, under what are the conditions necessary to carry out that particular reaction. So we are not getting the information regarding the conditions of the reaction. So here this reaction, whether it is taking place at normal temperature or at near about 200-300 degrees Celsius or at room temperature, or any catalyst is required or not. So that is not mentioned. So that will come under the category conditions. So conditions, we won't get any information regarding the condition of the reaction. Okay, but these limitations, so these are the limitations of the chemical reaction. Now how we can overcome, or how these problems can be sorted out. So what we will do, so that the chemical equation will be more informative. Okay, first thing is that to indicate the physical state of the substance. For example, this reaction. If I write here in this reaction that NaOH, since sodium hydroxide solution we are taking, so in water, so it is aqueous. Sulfuric acid, since state it is in the again aqueous state, little bit water is there, so that will give you sodium sulfate. Here sodium sulfate formed is in the solid state and water form is in the liquid state. So beside the formula of the reactant in the bracket, if I write aqueous or solid or liquid state, then what will happen, this equation will be, the chemical equation will be more informative. More informative, why? Because I can know about the physical state of the reactants and the products formed during the reaction. Okay, now time taken, compulsion, rate of the reaction, once I'm leaving this, because these informations not got till now, nothing is mentioned so that we can get it. Exothermic and endothermic reaction. So we can, if suppose the reaction is exothermic reaction, if you write that magnesium reacts with oxygen and gives magnesium oxide, okay, this one. Nothing is mentioned here whether the reaction is exothermic or endothermic, but suppose I write here plus del H or plus heat energy. Del H means plus heat energy. This plus indicate that some amount of heat is released in the atmosphere. Means after the reaction, energy is released. So this is what exothermic reaction. So exothermic reaction can be represented in this way, or if it is an endothermic, then I have to write endothermic reaction is that sodium bicarbonate gives sodium Na2CO3 plus carbon dioxide plus water. This is an example of endothermic reaction. So here, okay, it is balanced 2 carbon, carbon 2. Okay, so this is a balanced. This one, if it is an endothermic, then I will write here del H or minus heat energy. So when I write here plus, then it is exo. This is exothermic reaction. When I write here minus, this is endothermic reaction. Even you can write exothermic reaction like 2 Mg plus O2, here minus del H, then that one is exothermic. Or here plus del H, then it is endothermic. So exothermic reaction, we have to write product side either del H or towards the reactant side minus heat energy. And in case of endothermic reaction, product side I have to give minus heat energy, or maybe reactants, or we can write towards the reactant side heat energy. Then that one is what? Endothermic reaction. So this is exothermic reaction representation, endothermic. So if I write del H plus or minus, then what will happen? We can know about exothermic and endothermic reaction. Reversible or irreversible reaction. So that information, like nitrogen react with hydrogen, we know that this is a reversible reaction. So this can be represented in this way. Then this sign indicate, only one arrow indicate that it is a irreversible reaction, but arrow in this way indicate that this is a reversible reaction. So to represent a reversible reaction, this sign, reversibility sign, we have to give. Okay. And since it is exothermic, so it is del H. Now concentration of the substance. If like zinc react with HCl gives ZnCl2 plus hydrogen. If I write in this way, then I don't have idea that whether HCl is dilute or concentrated. But below this, if I write here DIL, dilute, then I know I can say that here hydrochloric acid is in the dilute state and react with zinc, gives zinc chloride and hydrogen. And when it is used in the concentrated state like MnO2 plus HCl, then gives MnCl2 plus chlorine plus water. Okay. In this reaction, hydrochloric acid is not in the diluted state. It is in the concentrated state. So it's very clear. If I write here dilute, then this reaction will give us idea that the HCl react in the dilute state with the zinc and gives ZnCl2 hydrogen. But here same hydrochloric acid, when I write conc, then it means it is in the concentrated state and react with MnO2 give MnCl2 chlorine and water. Next, conditions of the reaction even can be mentioned. We can get the information regarding condition. The same this reaction, preparation of ammonia. This I write nitrogen reacts with hydrogen and gives NH3. To make it more informative, reversible, I have to give this sign. This is exothermic, so I have to write this. I'll write this. And condition, since here iron acts as the catalyst and molybdenum act as the promoter. Balance it. This is 3, this is 2. So the condition above the arrow, I can write the conditions. Like here it is, this inform that iron is the catalyst, molybdenum is the promoter, and temperature 450 degree. It means this reaction is taking place 450 degrees Celsius and 200 to 900 atmospheric pressure. So, this reaction, if I write the conditions in short above the or below the arrow, then I can, this reaction will be more informative. More informative in the sense means this reaction, in this reaction even we can know that what is the catalyst, what is the promoter, and at what temperature the reaction is carried out, and at what pressure the reaction is visible. So whatever the limitations are there, that can be overcome, or the reaction will become more informative if all these things are included within the chemical equation. So this is all about the chemical equation, that what is the chemical equation, how we will write a chemical equation, what are the information we gather from the balanced chemical equation, and what are the limitations and how those limitations can be overcome. So we have learned all these things in this part of the chapter, and next class I will explain you how to balance the chemical equation and how to find out the molecular weight of the substance. And even, yes, we will know about the percentage composition of the substance. In the next class we will discuss about all these things. So this is all about today.